So I'm excited today because Google announced a major unlock for Google Analytics, which is going to enable your AI agent to access the data on your behalf. The reason this is so important is that most people struggle with the Google Analytics interface. It's really hard and complex to build reports, particularly in the Explorations tab. It's powerful if you know what you're doing, but for most people, they can't get all of the insights from that powerful data without maybe coming off to an analyst, handing off that report. Now, using the MCP server, you'll be able to use your AI agent of choice to go in, build a report for Google Analytics, maybe join that data with some other data sources. You have some publicly available data and get really interesting insights. So follow on to the end of the video and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So let's look first of all at Google Analytics as it is at the moment. This is the Explorations where you can build your own reports in Google Analytics. Now, I hear all the time from brands we work with that they find this kind of interface very confusing. You have to go in and select the dimensions you want, or you have to know what are the possible dimensions. I know this a lot, so I know that if we want to look at item name, for example, we can do that. But then there's all sorts of gotchas about the fact that then you can only have certain metrics with certain dimensions. So I might look at event count of that, but I then need to filter it by the event name and so on and so on. So I can build reports here. It's just kind of tedious. And there's lots of scope for getting it wrong. So I think what would be transformational is when you can actually get AI to build reports for you, because all of the accurate data is there in Google Analytics. It's not that the insights are not there, it's just getting them surfaced, getting them relevant when you need them, and also being able to open the tool up to lots of users in your organization, perhaps without the knowledge of how to use Google Analytics. So currently the problem is, if you go to ChatGPT and say, can you get my website conversions? They say, no, I can't access Google Analytics. I can give you a step-by-step guide of where you can do it. But again, this goes back to the problem that as a user, I don't know how to do that. And I may not be able to, that's what I was just doing, creating a free-form report, rows, session source, etc. Right? But that's still getting into quite complex topics. Now, there are a few tools out there that are promising to try and bring this kind of insight into a chat. Triple Whale is releasing its Moby product. There's this other tool, Finley AI, which is backed by Y Combinator and is trying to do something similar for lots of different data sources. But I think what will be transformational is when this is native within Google Analytics, or using your own Google Analytics data without having to buy an expensive other tool. Now, since the beginning of the year, Google has been trialing in alpha a AI chat within Google Analytics. So as a partner, we have access to that. And let me give you a little sneak peek of how that looks. So in the top right here, you have a chat icon, and you can open that up and start a conversation. So as it says, I'm your Google Analytics chat. So I've asked it just to build me the report that I was wanting to do. I want a report of campaigns driving conversions over the last 6 months. And here we go. It's created the report. In fact, you can link to it because this is a standard report in Google Analytics. But the clever thing is then you can obviously query further. So, then it said, hey, do you want to compare it with the last 12 months? Yep, here I do. And then I can look at those things. And then I might want to drill in. I can say, okay, well, referrals, that's interesting. Well, I wonder what referrals they're coming from. So can you drill into which sites were actually driving those referrals? And here's my breakdown. So I think this will be, for a lot of users, really transformational, that you're able to get the same insights from Google Analytics, but in a chat interface, and not have to spend a lot of time figuring out the custom dimensions and metrics and explorations. But here's the important thing. Obviously, it's only going to be as good as the data that you capture in Google Analytics. So a quick plug for Little Data, because you need to make sure that all of the accurate touch points, and especially the customer journey and how people are getting to a purchase, getting to a conversion, if that stuff's not there, the AI agent is not going to be able to answer your question accurately. Now, there's something else that's really exciting that was released just today in alpha for Google, and this is their own MCP server. So if you've been following the AI space, the way that this technology is evolving is that the AI agents need to have access to data sources in order to go and find results on your behalf. And as we saw with the ChatGPT example, natively, they know that you have Google Analytics, but they can't themselves do it for you. The best they can do is give you a guide of how you can go into the website, the user interface, and do it. The next step will be actually being able to plug your whatever AI agent you're using into Google Analytics so they can build a report. And that will not only reduce the cost for you, because it means you don't have to have an expensive other analytics platform. You can make use of free Google Analytics, but it will also, I think, bring a lot more possibilities for people like ourselves to build on top of Google Analytics and build more insight tools. So currently, if you're a developer, this project is out there, publicly available as Google Analytics MCP. And you can plug in, and obviously they have instructions how to use Google Gemini, but you can plug in your Google Analytics account into the AI and it can search. I haven't done that yet. I'd love to hear from anyone who's had a play around with this tool. I'm personally very excited to dive in this week because I think this is the missing link between ChatGPT or Gemini being able to query all of the great data you have. So I'm excited for the future of e-commerce data using AI. And I think one of the key unlocks here is being able to get the AI agent to access the confidential proprietary data that's in your Google Analytics account. This is first-party data that you've gathered. No one else has access to it. It's a unique data source that you can combine with the other insights from AI to get interesting analyses. So, for example, one of the things that often affects sales in e-commerce stores is the local weather. And there are ways people can pull this into Google Analytics, but AI will really be able to easily spot those trends and see that the fluctuation in conversion rate actually matches particular weather patterns in your main purchasing areas because it has access to the weather data, which is publicly available, and now your private data on Google Analytics. Now, obviously, the challenge here is getting all the data on one place. And I know, obviously, Shopify also has a vision of being able to make available the Shopify data to AI agents, obviously its own sidekick agent currently to be able to query where your purchases are coming from. But Shopify is missing a key bit of data about your e-commerce store, and that is the customer journey, the touch points on the store that lead people up to sales. That is not something that's available currently to access. You can't get any data about pre-purchase events, all of the detailed touch points, and the marketing attribution of Shopify Analytics is still very basic. So while I think they have the vision of opening up the data to AI agents, the problem with Shopify currently is you're missing that first bit of the customer journey. What do people do before they add to cart, before they check out? So if you're going to use Google Analytics as a data source which has that, then what you need to make sure is that you're pulling all the data into Google Analytics. And that is what Little Data is in the business of doing, making sure that not only all the conversion, all the purchase data there, but also all of the micro conversion steps that take you there, so that however deep you want to go into the analysis, looking at what particular products are converting well, which particular geographies are working well, whether there's a link between a particular surge in traffic and a particular referrer or campaign you're running, that is all stuff that's in Google Analytics, and you'll be able to ask the AI agent about it. So the future's bright. The future's AI plus e-commerce data. And I really believe that Google has a great advantage here with using its free Google Analytics tech stack and adding on some of the great models it has in Gemini to be able to analyze those in real time.